Hey guys, welcome back to the Snapper Chronicles. Today we're coming back at you with a Ratchet video. Okay, we got an Oxwall Ratchet. You can see here it's made in Japan. We'll say maybe this was from the 70s or something. It gives me that feeling, like kind of one of those 70s Japanese Ratchets. Some interesting features on this one. Handle length. But before we jump into it, if you can do me a big favor and hit the like button and also subscribe to this channel, I would really appreciate it. Okay, when I first picked this up, I thought it was a half-inch drive. Actually, this is a 3/8 drive ratchet. It's pretty long for a 3/8, especially from this time. It's about 10 and a quarter inches in length, and it has this really beefy, like super knurled handle. I'm not sure if this is an original hole. It looks kind of maybe haphazard, but you know, this isn't a high quality tool, so that could be very well be original. And at least they did chamfer the hole there, so both ends are chamfered. But the grip here, it's a big beefy grip, and the knurling on this is like some kind of super knurling that's almost raspish. Here's a good close-up of this knurling, and it's very grippy, super grippy knurling. I mean, I could probably take a piece of wood and start rasping with this grip. And this is the shaft, and it's very what do you call it? I was very optimistic when I saw the handle. I was like, oh boy, this is like some heavy duty ratchet. I mean, it's got the weight, the handle, it has this crazy super knurled handle. Looks pretty good, right? The length, I mean, you could really put this to work, right? This length, you could give it a good amount of torque. But let's jump inside and see what's inside this ratchet. And it has the core ring here that like 95% of roundhead ratchets have. You know, nothing much to see there. And you push out the mechanism. And another interesting thing about this ratchet is that it has this ring with a really little shallow lip there, or protrusion. You can barely make it out there. You see that? It's sticking up. And that goes into that really shallow little trench there. So, I don't know, kind of like, did they really need that? I don't know why they would make that like that. For some reason, maybe they had a bunch of these mechanisms, and I don't know, and they wanted to fit those into these, but these needed to be a certain thickness, and they had them all at one thickness, so maybe they had to make something like this. I don't know, but that's kind of a weird thing, just to have that there, when I think they could have not had that there. They could have done away with that if they would have machined this a little bit differently. Okay, on this side, the switch side, there is a more deeper trench there, ledge that's machined in, And here are the teeth. Actually, the broaching doesn't look too bad on this head. I think there's 40 teeth in this mechanism, and let's look at the teeth. They all look like they're in decent shape. Okay, so we have that. That maybe doesn't look too bad. Then we go to the mechanism. Here's the mechanism. Looks kind of disappointing. For a Ratchet this big, this looks like kind of a cheesy mechanism. You can see how the cutout for the paw is oversized, and kind of the paw swims in there, and so that's already off the bat, that's not a good sign there. There's the bolt detent. Looks pretty normal. Not much to say about that. Okay, let's take this apart. This one's a little bit difficult to take apart. I have to get my crescent wrench out. Okay. No. It went back up. You have to press down on the plunger and then grab the sides here of the switch and pull it out little by little. But be careful, because that ball detent under spring tension wants to come out. And it's kind of hard to pull out. I think the tolerances on this was really close to where it barely clears the hole there, the spring and detent and plunger. Okay, once you have it like that, now you can still need this is still tight, but be careful and close those openings, because this like that wants to jump out. And here's the switch. Has a plunger with kind of a long plunger and kind of a long spring also, not terribly long, but maybe a little bit longer than usual, and a hollow plunger. The spring just sits in there like that. Here's the switch. Has the hole where the spring and plunger sit in, and this is what it looks like. This looks a lot like that Kmart Ratchet, Japanese Ratchet I did. Probably same mechanism, same factory, same everything. Maybe this was made somewhere else, because like I said, the ring kind of doesn't really fit this mechanism, so they had to make like a ring so that this mechanism could fit in this ratchet. That's just conjecture. I don't know what really happened here, to tell you the truth, but that's my educated guess. Here's the pin. The pin looks pretty horrible the way it was cut. You see that cut mark there? That wasn't smoothed out at all. And this end looks really uneven also. So another bad pin. And the paw. The paw also looks like it's been, doesn't look abused, but looks like it wasn't machined too well. Let me see, this is not focusing really great. Let me see there. Kind of these sides are kind of like just really rough, and the top kind of is a little bit rough. The sides again on this side are rough. No chamfering on the hole. It's underneath, and on this side, no chamfering on the hole either. And here is the mechanism housing. One interesting thing about this is did they cut these out or smooth these out and made like little pockets here? Because very interesting, on cheap ratchets like this, usually when when they're straight like this, it'll cut a slot into the plunger, and then later on it causes problems. And you can see this plunger has no slots on the sides, and you can see where there's these little cutouts here on the sides here, and that kind of cushions, I guess, the plunger, so it won't create those gashes in the plunger that kind of stick when it's ratcheting, and kind of really messes up ratcheting when those plungers, those gashes stick to the sharp part of the walls here, those sharp parts you can see here. See if I can get this to focus a little bit better. You see these sharp walls, edges here, they usually dig into those gashes. So I'm wondering, did they do this purposefully? I'm thinking they might have, because if it had that much damage just on its own, you would see damage on the plunger, and I don't see damage on the plunger. So that's just my guess. Interesting feature. They should have done that on a lot of these cheap ratchets. It would have, I know, it would have probably cost a few pennies to do, and there's always a race to the bottom with these sorts of ratchets, but it probably save the consumer a lot of headaches down the road. And to put it back together, put the pin back in to the pawl, take the plunger and spring, put that in the hole of the switch. Kind of wedge the switch there, grab a pick or something, and push that in. See if it's ratcheting or functioning. Now you remember the little ring here. Put that there, like that, and on the opposite end you put your mechanism in. Like that. Now you take your ring, you go around the edge. Now you see if it's ratcheting. It's working. Okay. Like I said, interesting ratchet. Kind of gave me a lot of hope and optimism when I saw the handle. But when you open it up and you see the mechanism, it's what can you say? It's another cheap Japanese ratchet mechanism from around, I don't know, 70s is what we said, or I said. But the handle is kind of crazy. The handle and the length is pretty out of sight. Too bad it couldn't be matched or paired with a decent mechanism. It would have made a really nice ratchet. Okay guys, that's all I have. Until next time.